We on there. So it's that.
All right. Hey, everybody. Let me take my glasses off so I can see better. All right. All right. Okay, so today, guys, I was on earlier, and I'm going to post that video. So I was on earlier with my air fryer, preparing a meal for Tony and I to sit down and talk with you guys today, okay? So this is our first live that we're doing. Normally we record and then I post. So again, we're trying to build our smorgasbord channel, and make sure you can see it. We gotta look at both cameras because we got two cameras going. So we're building our smorgasbord channel. So you guys go to our channel, like, share, and subscribe. In fact, baby, you can be inviting people on your thing after you finish eating. But we're trying to eat and do this at the same time, guys. Anyway, so baby, tell them what our topic of discussion is today so people can chime in. And guys, if you all, I know I didn't do an announcement or anything on what we're going to do. We're going to get better at this. I'm discovering as I study how to do this channel that we're supposed to send out a notice to the subscribers, but I don't know who you guys are. So you guys got to go into my comment section and tell me who you are so I can send you out notices to let you know when we're going to do our live discussions, okay? So tell me who you are so that go in my comment section on this smorgasbord channel and tell me who you are, okay? Right now we have, I think like 69 subscribers, guys. We have to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can release my documentary for my mission work. But anyway, today we're here to talk about what we're talking about, baby.
How do you know you have the right one?
All
How do you
right.
know the right one?
The right mate.
Right one, yeah, right mate.
So today we're talking about how do you know if you have the right mate. Okay, so you guys, if you're listening to us live and you chiming in, then give us some feedback, okay? So babe, but you try to get some people on with your phone. But you can go ahead and start the discussion.
Okay, well, first I would like to say, you know, it's a good subject. I chose this subject because I guess in the beginning of a relationship, I mean, there's some things that has to go through your mind, you know, what you really want in that person. You know, the man, you know, what you want from that woman, out of that woman, or what you expect. So my first priority was that, you know, a spiritual woman. Nothing I can say less than that. That really love the Lord for me. You know, because I know if they love Him, they will love me. The family, knowing how the families are compatible with your families or upbringing, those things are important. You know, no matter what you go through in life as an adult, if whoever you're gonna plan on being with or plan on being, you know, with in the future, families play a big part, especially us since we had a blended family. You know, we started out with four, 7 kids together. So, you know, different families, you know, believe in different things. And so we had a lot to consider, rather than two single people coming together versus 2 families already made coming together. So we're a blended family. So we had to consider kids, careers, all that. You know, my wife is a businesswoman. So I had to understand and you know, her ventures in business, a lot of times she would be gone. So I had to consider all the stuff, even though that really kind of how to know the right one. You know, like I say, I knew a little bit, very little about her, but like I say, it was a feeling that I had. And through talking You know, we talked so long, so many hours. You know, from initially when we first started talking. You know, I got to know her, and you know, I just had a feeling that she was the right one because, like I say, I wanted. First thing was a spiritual woman, and anything else didn't matter to me. You know, it really didn't. You know, first I wanted someone with a career mind that had ambitions and goals in life too, as well. But I would be lying if I was to say I put that before God, before Him, because I mean, I didn't want to go through. I want someone that can, if I were to go for anything happen to me, I want someone spiritually to help me get back up. Since I was, spiritual person, a spiritual man, true believer in God and trusted Him. I didn't want to go and someone that's going to take me the other way. I've already been there. So that was my number one priority. Now, I can't speak for her. She's going to elaborate on what she wanted. You know, I wanted someone that was about family. And, you know, through talking to her, you know, and seeing how she conducted herself, you know, from time to time. Like I said, we seen one another from time to time at, my mother had a salon where she worked. So I would see her from time to time, and she, you know, we discussing different things about what she was doing, the singles ministry. And I liked all that because she was trying to help give back or help others down the line that maybe get into relationships. So that was a good sign for me, you know. And seeing how she took care of 3 kids, you know, it was tough as a single mother, and that's why I have a certain I don't know if passion, a certain way I look at women that are single and still raising the kids. That tells a lot about a woman because they can be out there doing a lot of other things. But when I see a young lady taking care of family, you know, with all other things she could be doing, I respect that to the utmost. That's one of the things I respect more than anything. And the man too. When I see a man doing the same thing, you know, I respect that. You know, because I've been there. And that's another thing that I saw her. It was like a parallel for us because I was raising my kids pretty much the same way, single parent for years, and it wasn't easy. It's really hard. Let's be honest, because you don't have a life. You know, I saw her, you know, work in the shop, working the hair salon all day, pick her kids up, tend to them, get, you know, school and all that, and the same thing. I had to do the same thing you know, because I was working at night, and anything I did, I had to do, you know, the day as far as getting the kids ready for school, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but the way she handled it, it sort of like was a draw for me. And those are the types of things that, you know, that I knew she was the right one. You know, that I looked at those things. A lot of people look beyond that. They look at the exterior things. They look at material things. They look at the tangible things that don't really matter about a relationship. But it seems as though it matters, but when you get into the relationship, it doesn't matter. You know, because I'm not gonna say money don't keep you together, because it does help. But when you have all the money and you have other problems that money can't buy, you know, when you have a disagreement, when you have this, you know, these are things that you got to really understand, and why I say spiritual. You know, and that worked for me because I already knew what I wanted. I didn't really want to. I wouldn't even. She was my first and only date, and probably about, I guess, probably close to 15, yeah, that I would consider as a date. You know, because I didn't want to waste my time with going the other way down. Plus, I was, you know, working and trying to take care of my sons. You know, I had 4 boys. So it was not easy, like I said before. And I seen her go through the same struggles I did. You know, as a woman, something happened to her car. She was trying to, you know, but I would see her go get things done. You know, after we got together, you know, I was doing, but before that, she was doing it on her own. You know, and
with the help of my father,
her dad, and you know, that's the big help. And that's another thing. I knew, like, initially, meeting her father for the first time, you know, even before I saw him or met him, before I even spoke to him, you know, I could see their family, same type of
structure,
family structure, you know, that I had, you know, even going back, you know, because I was raised in the South, born here in D.C., but raised in the South, and I came back. And her father had strong Southern roots, and I could just tell the way, you know, I met him. He came in late with his work uniform on and everything, and, you know, it's a feeling I got. And, you know, the right one. Another thing with the right one, when you meet the family, you meet the brothers, you know, you meet the sisters. I didn't meet her brother Fred till later on, you know, because he was, I think he lived in Baltimore somewhere. And I met him, but I met Henry, and I had led Frida. And I seen how they, you know, remind me of my family a lot, you know. And they were raised, you know, same way, you know. And, you know, just for you to know, but it's certain things you should have in mind what you want. Know what you want. You know, I chose my wife. My wife didn't choose me. I chose her. So therefore I knew what I wanted in a woman. It may be different from what other people want in a woman. You know, I had to accept the part that, you know, she was gone a lot because she was always doing a lot of different businesses. Even before, you know, we really got kind of like serious. I was serious going into business and doing this. And then once we got married, she'd go out of town and I had to keep the kids. But I was ready for all that. You know, it was kind of easy when you know what you want in a woman. You know, you'll be able to deal with certain things otherwise that you wouldn't be able to if you consider, you know. But the main thing you have to be ready and have your mind made up, because a lot of times she'd be gone for a week. You know, my mother-in-law, which was a beautiful woman, to step in and help us out. My mom, beautiful woman, they stepped in and helped us out if we needed it.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, my wife would make sure that we had food enough for the whole week, you know, or something that she could that I could do to be able to take care of the kids in that amount of time, you know. And we really had a good kids, and even though we didn't raise all of them together as like one family, we came in with two families, we still were able to make it happen, you know, and put them together and raise them as a family, as such, as if we were all we had them all, you know. And it was not easy. It was not easy because you had to sacrifice a lot for them. I mean, a lot, you know. Saturdays, you know, you have them in activities and stuff. And, you know, she might put them in activities, but she wouldn't be able to go, so I had to go. So a lot of times, I think we you know, we worked it out. We worked it out. But I'm not going to take all the time. I'm going to let her elaborate on how she knew that I was the right one. But those are the few things that I can really, she was understanding. In the beginning, she would take my kids. If I had to do my music, she would say, look, you don't have to take the kids, because a lot of times the kids want to go, especially my oldest son, Sean, he loved music. It's like he was born. Other three boys, they really wasn't into it like as much as Sean, so he would go with me. The other boys would, you know, they would be in activities. She would take them skating or ice skating or something, you know, to keep them busy while I played, you know. Because that was an outlet for me. So when she would do that was another reason I knew she was the one. Because what woman gonna do that? She has 3 kids of her own. And when you mentioned you had to go do your music thing, she said, "I take the boys." Which my mother, she had it already, you know, pretty much squared away. We said, "Well, let me tell you, I'm gonna take them out, like take them skating to the movies, or it's something, you know, some kind of activity, you know." And that's another sign that she was the right one. I mean, there's so many different things. I can't begin to mention all of them, but those are things that you can really, really examine when you're talking about dating to marry, you know. And those are a few things, and see how they react to things. Like I say, she trusted me the way I trusted her with my kids, the same way she trusted me. I would keep Travis and Tramice. Ebony was a little older, oldest one, but the 2 young, she trusted me to keep them while she worked in the salon. So, you know, that was letting me know that she must trust me somewhat with her kids, you know. And that's how we did it. And that's all those are things that you have to look at, and you can't rush. When you're talking about a relationship, you know, maybe going into a marriage, certain things. You need to find certain things out. How does that person adjust to kids that are not his biologically? How do they react to my kids? How do they treat my kids? Do they treat my kids like hers, or does he treat mine like his? You know, vice versa. Mm-hmm. So those are things that if you're talking about a relationship, you have to examine. And a lot of people don't. They look at the person. They don't go beyond that person. So if they go get married and that person is not family oriented, that's another thing. I want a woman that was family oriented. If you marry someone that's not family oriented, it's gonna be problems because it's not about you. It's about us. It's about everybody. Mm-hmm. With us, it was about all 8 of us. No, it was what, 9, right? T was made 9.
Yeah.
My oldest son, he made 9, so he got involved a whole lot. Unfortunately, before his death, he got involved with the family a lot. He treated all the kids the same, not just his brothers. Travis, Chemise, and Ebony was like his little brother and sister, and he loved them as well. So the kids see through you what you do. Mm-hmm. He fit right in, and he treated Tina like a mom. Like I said before in another interview, he would bring her flowers every day. Every day he bought her flowers.
Something.
Candy flowers every day, not just, and would follow her home. And he lived in Fort Washington off of Branch Avenue. He'd be at the shop salon waiting for her because he loved and respected her, And that's and even before that, she did things for him when he graduated, So much. It's so much. You just watch and observe the things, if you're talking about advancing from a relationship until marriage, and there's certain things you need to find out. It's more than just you. A lot more. Because, let's say now we've been together 28. Let's see. Is it 28? Yeah, 28 years. Mm-hmm. And it don't seem like it's been that long, but, we didn't start off. It wasn't tough, even though we had all those kids, but it was easier, more easy than anything, because we knew what we wanted. We were a little bit more mature, and I'm not trying to put age out there, but being 30, I was 30, she was only 29, it helped a lot we were more mature, and versus being 20, 19, and we were able to, we knew a lot more about life. We knew more about ourselves.
Well, say this is our second marriage.
Well, it was our second marriage, but still, it don't mean you learn something from the first one. Some people don't learn. Some people, and that's another thing, because you've been married, don't mean you learn. It don't mean you learn anything from the first one. And not all the time.
That could be true.
And even though you've been married 10 times, but it don't mean you learn. But that's the way it is for me. And I'm gonna let her talk about her side now, her part of the relationship. How does she know I was the right one? Now, only she knows.
Okay.
All right.
So how do you know you have the right mate? The only thing I could say is with the experience that I have. Okay. Mm-hmm. I know it was the spirit. Tony said it was a feeling he had. It was the spirit telling me. Okay? The Holy Spirit that lives inside. So, actually, I was prepped and prepared for Tony. I had a conversation with my mother and one of my big sisters, and we'd had this conversation. We were talking about, I was over the singles ministry at my church, and I was like, okay, well, I've been single for a while. I think I might be ready to start dating again, and blah blah blah. Blah, blah, blah. So we was talking to my mom and saying, well, how do we know we got the right one, and all this kind of a thing, right? And I was sharing with them, because we were just in a female conversation. So I was saying to my mother and my sister Hattie, so I was saying to my mother and my sister Hattie, Pauline Johnson, my oldest sister, called her my big sister. I was saying to her, well, God, I mean, I've always prayed and always wanted somebody just like my father. And I'm not going to be satisfied until I get a man like my father. I want my husband to be like my dad. But I don't want him to be short like my dad. I want him to be 6 feet chocolate, but just like my dad. Okay, y'all heard that, right? 6 foot chocolate and just like my dad. Now, my dad's chocolate, but he's short. All right, so my mom said to me and Hattie, we were in the kitchen. And this is why I be doing my little talks and stuff in the kitchen, because just somehow, y'all remember that movie Soul Food? Things was, with black folks, we are always around food. You know, eating, just talking, it makes you comfortable and relaxed enough to, you know, just share your heart, you know. Anyway, so we were all in the kitchen talking. And so my mother says to me, so you mean to tell me, if God send you a short man, you gonna send him back? And I say, no, I ain't gonna send him back. And she said, now you telling me, if God send you a man like your father, but he ain't tall and dark, and he's short, you gonna send him back? And I had to think about that thing. I said, no, but no, God know how I am. You know, I know he got my back, you know. But that thing resonated with me. Said, oh, Lord Jesus, well, what, Jesus? What if he do send me a short man, Jesus? What am I going to do? And I was prepared. That prepared me to receive what God had. That meant I couldn't have no body type, no body shape, no body nothing. What God has for you is for you. And you can't tell God what you want. You know, because he knows what's best for you. If you really believe that God knows what's best for you, then you have to trust God. And so that helped me to change my mindset to be open to whatever God has for me. So it wasn't too long after this conversation that Tony made a call to me. I was working at his mother's shop, and I had been talking to him. Both of us were divorced, and he was going through his divorce. And so I said, well, just tell him to call me, you know, when he get a chance. Tell him to call me, blah, 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 blah. And how do you close that? Oh, they're saying, that's right. That's right. Okay, y'all. Okay, I see y'all chiming in now. Okay. So Tony called me. And when Tony called me, we talked all night like we had known each other forever, you know. And I had seen him in passing because I used to work in his mother's shop. So I never really paid too much attention to him behind by, because at that time, the time that I saw him, both of us were married. So I really didn't pay too much attention to him. But his mom was like, you know, once he was going through his divorce and everything, like, girl. And so anyway, so his mother is very instrumental in us being together. You know, parents, you know, young people and people always say things like, you know, they're against arranged marriages and stuff. But Tony and I, we can say, you know, sometimes parents know what they're doing. I would say probably, what, 80%, 90%?
A lot of Yeah.
They know, huh?
That's a year. Mm-hmm.
They know what they doing.
Yep.
Okay, especially if they're spiritual. You got spiritual parents. Okay. Anyway, so my mom sure enough prepared me for Tony. So anyway, so he called me. We talked all night, and we just hit it right off. I mean, just everything just fell into place. So, you know, I think probably by us going through what we went through in our past relationship, when we went through our divorces, we learned, you know, things to do and not to do, and then also to be more tolerant. You think, patient?
I mean, you just got you have things that you need to do to help you or benefit you, and things that for me, we had some things are mutual, some may be different. You know, whatever we went through, it helped us in our relationship. But either way,
mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. So, I think that it helped me. I know that a lot of times, I'm the oldest child. Tony's the oldest child.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, when I tell you I'm the brat, my daddy spoiled me, okay? And so it was kind of hard, you know. And so still I struggle with some things, but my husband has the patience of Job. So he helps me a lot, you know, with that, and with, you know, not being so selfish and blah, blah, blah. And so, and again, when Tony and I went out for the first time, and how did I know he was my mate? I looked in his eyes. We were just sitting down. We left a gospel concert to go and get, like, you know, some I guess a late night meal, you would call it, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
And so I was sitting down. We were waiting for the waitress to come, and we just was talking and everything. And I looked in his eyes, y'all, and he had these beautiful hazel eyes. And I saw my dad, spirit. He had gentle eyes just like my dad. And that scared me to death. Because here, all these years, from I say the time I decided I wanted to be married, I say probably at 16, up until what? How old we met? About 26?
No, we met when we was 30. I was 30, almost 31.
Really?
Yeah.
It was after 26. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not good with numbers, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I was what, 27, 28?
29, 30.
29?
30 probably. Yeah, close to 30. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess I was 29, y'all.
Yeah, 30, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
30.
So 29, I would say 29. All right. So from that time to that time, was the first time I ever looked at a guy and saw the same gentleness in a man's eyes like my dad. And I just knew by the Spirit of God that was in me that he was the one. And it's frightened the crap out of me, I'm telling you. You know, I bustled up and I put up a wall real quick, and it was like, oh, you know, because I never experienced that. But during the course of our friendship, because we started out as friends.
Yep. You gotta start out as friends. Yep.
We started out as friends.
That's right. For a while. Yeah.
Good friends. And so, you know, I would say, maybe after 5, 6 months? 4 or 5 months? I don't know. How many months?
I can't just about 6 months, probably.
About 6 months is when we decided to let one another know that we were interested in each other. Okay. So, But for those first 6 months, we were good friends,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
and we just enjoyed each other's company and just, getting to know each other and getting to know the kids, getting to know his
Yeah.
family, getting to know my family. And we just had a good time.
Right.
And then once we, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say this. A lot of young people. I don't want to say young ladies, but it's very important. I'm gonna say young ladies. It's very important you bring your friend or whatever around your uncles, your brothers. It's very, very important. You know, it's very important because I can't speak for women, but brothers gonna tell you, hey, what kind of dude you have. And a lot of young ladies don't want that. They want to hide the guy around. They want to hide the guy. They want you to meet him when you get ready to marry. But it'll save a lot of women. I'm not saying I'm not telling guys not to bring them around the women in his family, but I'm talking from guys. Because a lot of things that we gotta say, we gotta say. Men will say, especially when it comes down to their sister, their female cousins, their aunts, on that matter, especially their sisters. So my advice to any young females, young or old, doesn't matter, young or old, bring them around. There's nothing wrong. It's something I don't see much of nowadays, and that's why you see so much going on. Like say, okay, Tina had kids before me. Now, somebody in her family may see that, man, I don't know, something about that person or that person I don't feel right about. And later on, you may find out that they are that way. So bring them. They don't have to be there, I say all the time, but bring them. Don't hide them. Bring those guys, those young men around because, like I say, nobody that dated my sister, they would meet me. I knew, but my sister only dated, one guy, but she didn't date a lot of guys. But number one, he gonna meet me either way. Either way. So the young ladies that try to hide these young guys from their fathers, from their mothers, bring them around. I was kind of glad Tina touched on that she came around. We did family stuff. Bring them around so you can meet these young men. Because a lot of these young ladies, they leave their kids with these guys and go to work, and they don't even know who they are. And then something happens. But if they bring them around the males in the family, they'll be less apt to do something to you. So my advice to you, bring them around so they can meet. Matter of fact, have something with all your uncles, all your brothers, and invite him. And if he don't come, that ought to tell you something about him. That means you can't hide something. He's hiding something. Because what we've done, we've gotten away from the old principles.
That's right.
See, I'm just telling like it is. I don't. See, a lot of times my wife uses names, but I don't use names. But I'm talking about males. Because we are men. We're supposed to be the head. We're supposed to be this. Bring them around. Don't hide them. Don't let them hide behind you. Bring them out open. Because I was around her family all the time. Men and their father worked on cars. Men and their father, worked on cars together, fighting over tools and stuff. Not physical fighting. He'll pull a screwdriver from me, and I'll take it back to me. Just having fun. And that before, that's the way it was. But nowadays, you find the people doing things. I'm not just singling out men doing something to their girlfriend or friends' kids, but women can too. So most of the time, women gonna a guy will bring most of the time a female that he meets. Most of the time they'll bring them around their mother. Most of the time, I'm not gonna say every time. In our day, they would. In our day, also a female would bring her friend around her father, brothers, or whatever. You didn't see that. So if the guy said, "Nah, I ain't in all that," but something wrong.
Yes.
Don't let him. If he tell you that, then you
cut
can.
Him off.
If he ain't, I ain't gonna say cut him off because he maybe the way times are now. These are times that crazy times. People do things the opposite, and it seems right, but it's wrong. You will not have the problems if you bring that man around. Another thing. These guys, I hear a lot of guys say, the guy come to my house, my friends, their daughters, and blow their horn for my daughter. And they tell me, say, man, my daughter, they make that dude come to the door. These are things that's natural for my generation. You go to the door and knock, speak, go talk to the father and stuff. And I mean, these things are going on for years, but people don't want to do right. And they want to tell people right. And that's why these guys do the things, a lot of them do the things they do to women.
Right.
Let them come face to face.
Right. With
your cousins, with your male. I'm not talking about female cousins. If they want to come around you and your female and your sisters, your mom and your female cousin, but they won't come around the male, something wrong. And I know a lot of times I see that. I see that a lot. When you see a brother come around the men, that means he ain't high enough, because we can pick up stuff right away. We can look at a dude within a few seconds. We know what they're about. And when they can't look at your father in your eye, your brother, there's something wrong. So I'm going to tell you, and this is something that needs to be addressed by, I see a lot of my buddies talking about this, because most of the guys my age, their daughters are older, but during maybe 15, 20 years ago, they was asking me, Tony, man, why this dude come to my house blowing his horn? They said, man, I made him come to the door. And I mean, we as men, we got to take control. We got to take control and protect our daughters from a lot of the stuff out here. They watch a lot of this TV stuff. What's in? That ain't never. What's in today is out with us during our generation. We didn't do stuff like that. We didn't blow the horn for a young lady.
Right.
We came to the door.
Right. And I mean,
matter of fact, hold up. We didn't pick up. Our young lady never picked us up. These are things that Tina would do, but I would told her, no, I'm going to pick you up, because that's the way she is, But I wouldn't let her do that. There's certain things that I won't do. And see, we have a lot of subjects we want to cover. Y'all need to tune in, because we have about, at least 5, 6, 7, 8 more subjects that's vital to your relationship. But since we're here, those are the things that, just think about the things you used to do. You need to bring them back. Because there's nothing new. This is the new way. The new way ain't working. It ain't working. That's why you see a lot of people that are single. It's not working. Yeah. But they want to be married, right? But they don't want to, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people do know. A lot of parents know what to do. But they want to address their kids because they don't want to make the kids upset about this maybe. But it's no new, there's no such thing as new. Like my dad always says, nothing new under the sun. When we used to get our hair cuts and fade and all, he said, man, that was out in the 50s. I said, no, it wasn't. I said, couldn't have been, because it's too cool or whatever. He said, look, man, one day he said, look, check it out. He showed me some pictures of some of the old groups, old quartet groups, old R&B groups. I said, wow. So a lot of parents get caught up in their kids tell them, well, this is 2020 or 21. We do things, but okay, then that's why you see a lot of things going on right now that shouldn't be going on. I'm not saying go back to the old way, and by no means, but do the right way. Do the right way. And the right way is letting your dad meet these guys that's coming around your daughter.
Old fashioned to me is new fashion. Especially now. Because listen, we have less and less marriages, and especially in our black communities. I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned for my daughters. I'm concerned for my friends and my friends' daughters. Marriages. You can
edit, right?
So marriages is a representation of Christ loving the church.
Right.
Okay? And so if marriage is a representation of Christ loving the church, why aren't there marriages going on?
Right.
People, especially in our black communities.
Right.
We need mothers and fathers. We need marriages together with these kids coming with these, in these households. Y'all, we need to go back to the old time way. I don't care what y'all say, and I don't care what kind of backlash.
Let me cut you there, baby.
Go ahead.
Not the old time, the right way.
Oh, Jesus.
Because you can't say.
Preach.
Right. People can associate old
preach.
as being And see, the first thing when you see old, I don't want to say negative, but kind of it is when they say right, that makes a big difference because that's letting you know that because it's old or whatever, it's still the right way. Just do what's right. You know, that is I'm saying go ahead, baby. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just and I guess I probably get that from my dad, who strongly anybody knows my father that he belonged to, been in church was in church all of his life, before, he passed away, whatever. He strongly believed in marriage, and that's where I get it from. And my siblings, we believe in marriage, the institution of marriage, okay? And so, I just feel like, women, I don't think women, and my husband and I talk about this a lot, I don't think you should be wasting a whole lot of time in these long-term relationships, because one thing, we'll go back to our topic. How do you know you have the right mate?
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
My father told me, and my father was a very strong, godly man, God-fearing, and treated our mother like a queen.
Yes, he did.
Okay? And everybody marveled at our parents' relationship. Okay? And my dad told me, and I'm his oldest biological daughter. Okay? And he told me, and probably my play sisters too, our adopted sisters also. He said, and my father used to say all the time, when a man looks at a woman, when he look at you girls, ladies, when a man look at you, he knows what he want to do with you. He knows if he want to marry you. He know if he just want to sleep with you. So if he not telling you, and if he playing games and stuff, cut that rascal off, okay? Because he knows what he wants when he look at you, okay? And so, you come fumbling and tumbling into the conversation, and you act like you don't know whether you're going left or right. He ain't the one, okay? He is not the one. Okay, because he knows by Sandy E. Edward Brady's declaration, a man knows what he wants when he look at you. And I'm about to turn around and look at Brother Thompson.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Y'all heard it from Brother Thompson.
But see,
second on emotion.
Amen. Quick, I'm just gonna say this quick, and I'm gonna let her finish. We are coming to everybody here from mature, seasoned people. We've been through. The reason we know these topics, these conversations, because of what we've been through. That's the only way. And I know some people are like, they might be like, really? They might be kind of shocked because they've never experienced like some of the things that we've gone through. But we're coming to you from two mature individuals that's been there. And you may go through certain things that we're talking about, but at least we're giving it to you to where, hey, you can look at it, certain things that we're talking about and observe. These are things that you can observe early before you proceed any further than like where you are, wherever you are in your relationship. Maybe you already been in a relationship and you start thinking back, maybe I didn't do that. Hey, if it suits, it really relies on you. But you can ask yourself some questions. And what we're talking about in the beginning, from the beginning to now, that we experienced, that we've had. Like I said, we came in with experience, and we knew what we wanted. I couldn't say I want a spiritual woman unless I deal otherwise. So I don't want to deal with certain things anymore. But first of all, I had to be right too. Don't get me wrong. Now I can't say I want a spiritual woman and I'm not spiritual, because that's not going to work.
Right.
If you want a spiritual woman, then you take a spiritually sound good woman because you've seen somebody else have one, then you don't want to treat her right. then you're in trouble with the man upstairs. You know, you're really going to be. So get yourself spiritual by whatever means. I mean, I can't tell no man, especially a man, you know, at a certain juncture or a certain level in his life, hey, get spiritual. You should know. You know, if you've been doing this for so long and life ain't, you know, it ain't getting you nowhere doing it, and you know, you want a good woman, I say a spiritual woman, good woman, prepare yourself. But you need to be good too. You need to be spiritual. You need to be
Amen.
whatever, because it's not going to work. You know, you want her to be spiritual, but then you're not spiritual. You know, and a lot of times that happens because you see maybe another brother with a spiritual woman. Wow, I like to have that, but you got to get ready for it. It can't work. It's like a good tree can't bear bad fruit. You know, a bad tree won't bear good fruit. You can't say that and you aren't right. You know, it's gonna be miserable. It's gonna be misery for both. You know, so
excuse me.
Right.
And I would say in the late 80s, early 90s, it was a thing going around where guys would say, "I'm gonna go get me a good church girl, church,
always. I mean,
church,
you know,
a good church
they
woman,
go to church.
a good church woman.
Guys will go to church for that.
Yeah,
you know?
and pray on you. And pray on you, ladies. They come to church looking for you, praying on you.
Like I say,
you know, but they not right.
No.
You know, so that's why, and then that's why you have to know, you know, what you're looking for in a male, and you have to seek God, as far as what is a good man. You know, and a good man's. What they say, a good man's steps is ordered by God.
Lights his way.
Right. So, you know, if his steps ain't being ordered by God, then we got some little issues going on.
Right.
You know. So, and that's what I would say. Now, do you want to address non-Christian or just Christian?
Well, I'm gonna just give it to. I'm hoping that if they're not Christian, that they will be able to take these values and become Christ-like in the event, you know, because I wasn't Christ-like one time. You know, I had to come to my senses and stuff. But I will say this: if you know some of these young men, they're the way they are, and they really didn't have fathers. I was fortunate, so therefore I was always around strong men. Godly men. If I had one for different areas. There are men out here that could really, mentor to you and talk to you. There's some left. Like they say, a few good men, and you talk to those men. Put them to the side. What do I need to do to get right? Don't say like that person, but what do I need to do to get right? You know, because a lot of people say you might look like right on the outside, but they're not really. But a guy that really is right from, and you'll be able to tell through the conversation. You know, some young men, they haven't had the privilege to have, like when I met her father just was the same way like mine. He was a spiritual man, you know. I learned from him. Every time I saw him, something I learned from him. Deacon Brady, every time. Like I say, we work on cars, we do this, play basketball, we do this, do that. You know, and the thing about it, you just learn from their walk. Sometimes they don't have to talk. You look at their walk. I seen how he treat my mother-in-law. You know, I seen how he treat her. You know, and how he loved her. You know, that's a lot. Yeah. And almost 60 years of marriage. So how can you not learn from a person like that? So right. You know, right. And you can learn, and even if you don't have a father, there's someone maybe in your church, in your job, even on your job. You know, you can talk to. Right. Started for me a lot of times on the job. I learned a lot. I was young. You know, but I went into the workforce when I was 16. I've been working it ever since. And every job I've been on, but no matter what it was, you know, working in the kitchen, electrician, or working at whatever, down around the bureau, wherever, there was always a guy that I could talk to, especially when I left home. You know, that on the job, there's someone that can help. That can help you. You know, you can learn from and try to learn from. That's my advice. You know, I don't know. My father taught me a whole lot, but it took a group of men to really get me to where I am now. You know, my dad was on the road a lot, so there was a lot of guys that just say, "Man, put me to the side." tell me about life. A lot of guys tell me about marriage. A lot of guys tell me about this, about that. You know, don't ever think that I'm serious. If the man is the head of the house, and he doesn't know the power that God has given him. If we realize the power that God gives man, I can describe what we can really do to change anything. But we don't realize the power we have because men, like I say, our role has changed a lot, especially in our community. You know, instead of lifting each other up. When I came up, the 18-year-old guys seemed like they were 50, and I'm not lying. And a lot of guys like they see us doing something wrong. If they see us doing something wrong, if they were at 17, 18, I thought of an 18-year-old, a 50-year-old man. It was like, okay. When older guys came on a basketball court, I was 12, they didn't have to say move. Guess what? We gone. We out of here. Bye. This is what I mean by things changing. That's from boys. You go from boy to man. Now, well, you go from boy and everything between then man and whatever. But it's respect. It's respect. Now, during the time I came up, you tell a young guy, they stay on the court and play, you got to tell them to move. Then they might go get a gun, we ain't moving. You know, it's a mess. But everything start then.
But can I say, and this is like a sidebar conversation, but that's one of the reasons in 2006 when I went to Gambia, it reminded me of my youth immediately, of how they respected their elders, right. No matter what age grouping that you are in. Really if you are their elder, they respect you. You know what their family structure. And I've been to the 3 African countries. The family structure in Ethiopia too, because they was very minimal. 4. I've been in 4 African countries. And the structure of the family is input. They respect their elders, ma'am. Yes,
it really is like a village.
They respect their elders, and and that trickles down into your relationships,
right?
You know, and so, you know, it's the structure, right. You know, of it's structure in the family life, in the home. Right. That's what's missing. And so if we don't start having these talks and start teaching our daughters, you know, that, you know, to raise their level up, the bar up, and just look, you not gotta stop laying around with folk that ain't your husband. You only date to marry, you know, because marriage is representation of Christ loving the church, him coming back for the church.
Honorable, yeah.
It's honorable. So, yes. And so, I mean, you just have to, I told anybody come through that, any male that came through my door that I met, I told them straight eye to eye, you're not going to be dating my daughter unless you are considering marriage for her. You know, and my daughters will tell you that. You know, so, and that's how I was raised. I truly believe that. You're just a haphazardly dating. You know, it's a waste of your time and your energy. You know, so we need to get back to that, guys, and
get to that. Don't say back.
Oh, okay. Well, get to it.
You know, get to that. That's the key.
You heard it from Brother Tom.
Get to it. I mean,
get to it.
Yeah, because go back. It's not now. That means it's old. Like I said, you don't want to say that.
Yeah.
You don't want to say that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You're right, baby. So, yeah. So that's where 2021 single ladies date to marry only. Okay, that's what my advice is. How do you prepare? Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for marriage. Date to marry only. Ask that joker, what do you want? If it ain't dating to marry, I'm looking for a wife. okay. If he ain't looking for, I don't know, I just want to take you out for if it is not on his mind to date, to marry, I'm looking for a wife. He said, I'm looking for a wife. You know, I'm seeking God for a wife. You know, then hey, I just, you know, because you're wasting time. You know, we as older sisters, we need to tell these young women, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm telling my sisters. You know, my close friends and stuff like that. Don't get no joke at your time if he ain't trying to date to marry you. You know, because you're wasting your time. You know, so you know, because everybody, I just feel like everybody deserves love. To me, I feel like it's a cop out. Unless God called you to be a eunuch, and that ain't very many of those were born. And he called you to be single, you know, and you're going into the priesthood or the nunnery. If you're not doing that, then that means you were put on this earth to have a mate. And that's what you should be seeking after, you know, your career, whenever you decide or whenever God tells you it's time for you to marry. Because if you sleeping around, that means you ain't a eunuch. Okay? That means that God didn't put you on this earth to be in the nunnery or a priesthood. Okay? So that's my opinion, guys.
Yeah.
That's mine.
But going back to the subject, how you know the right one, it's so much. I mean, we could touch on so many things. And I'm gonna say this, you know, we were young, we dated different people, of course. We were married before, so, and even before that we dated. But I want to clear it up because I don't want them to think they can't date because of that, because you're not gonna know right away. A lot of things, it comes with maturity before you get to that level. You know what I'm saying? To where I'm dating to marry now. That's the thing about it. If I'd have met Tina 20 years before, there's no way I felt like that I felt. Because I wasn't mature. Everything comes with maturity. That's why I use the word season. You have to go through a lot in life. When I say a lot, before you can say certain things, do certain things. If I met Tina before I did, you know, she might have been saved, but I know I got saved kind of, I didn't even say late, or, you know, got myself together, you know, but I wouldn't have been probably ready for it if she came like that. But also, God knows it's a season that God gives everyone. So we met when we did, because we met several occasions, and we didn't even know it till later on. We met when we was 15.
Yep.
We met again. When we met at the shop.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we met.
Our paths kept crossing.
Paths crossed, and yeah, we met at Bladensburg High School. We went the same year. Never saw her. Matter of fact, she had one of her boyfriends in 10th grade was one of my good friends. Didn't know that. So we crossed paths during that time. But like I say, there's a
time and a season.
What now?
Time and a season.
Time and a season.
Everything.
And you can't go back and say, sometimes I say, man, we would have met it, but it wasn't the season for us to meet. I had a lot of things to work on in my life. She had things to work on in life. Before you can get to the point and say to another person that you dating and married, there's a lot of things, you know, if you're 20 years old, you go through things. And one thing that I don't forget, I wasn't born saved. I didn't, you know, like I said, I got right with my life, but I use the word saved when I got delivered for certain things. And I still had things. I got things I work on now. I'm 40, almost 60 years old. But I'm saying that we all have something to work on. So you can't set a standard for, like I said, how do you know the right one? A lot of times people set standards. I want a man that makes this. I want a man that's built this way. And the same thing I'm saying for women too. But see, you setting standards before you setting morals.
Right.
You have morals about yourself, self-respect for yourself first. Right. And they have to respect you first. Right. And if they come in if a man come in the right body, build, woman come in the right shape, body, build, whatever. Okay, you taking that over morals, value. You know, you devalue that. Really, you devaluing yourself because you're looking at worldly, what they call them, baby, worldly values, and those are different from godly values. You know, spiritual values, those two different things. Values. You know, count them. values instead of being carnal.
It.
And it's easy to be carnal because that's the way you come in. You don't come in right. You are developed into this. That's how I'm saying. I knew he's the right one because every check mark, you check and you see this. But my top priority was spiritual. That was my top priority. Yours may be something else, but I'm just saying, if it's spiritual, all those other things, that means they love on the level of loving God. In other words, and you can't love yourself if you don't love God, because God is love. And a lot of people take that very lightly, but God is love. If you love God, just about everything else. I mean, really love, not by words, but by action, by living. I'm not perfect. I'm far from being perfect. I'll never be perfect, but I strive to do right. And I'm not going to be able to check every mark and say, yes, everything is a 10 out of 10. No, that's a lie. I'll be lying to myself. There's things I still have to work on, even at almost 60 years old. And I'm sure if you're 20 years old, you're not a bad person, or 25 years, if you're not a bad person, if you don't really know what you want in a person yet. But, like I say, you have to know what you want. And you got to, seek God on that. And, be ready yourself. Mm-hmm. Some people get married, I've seen people get married 15 and last, and they married for 75 years. I mean, married, I don't just mean, some people married a long time, they're just together. But I've seen couples got married in the old days, they got married at 15, and they love each other. Mm-hmm. So I can't put an age on it. I did, but and the man treated her like a queen. She treated him like a king. So some people say, man, this or that, you can't. It's hard for me to put age on them. I seen somebody been together 75 years, 67, 80 years.
Yeah.
Got married 15, 16 years old. It's hard for me to say that now, seeing that. And they love each other, inseparable. But like I say, Spirit of God somewhere along the line, the Spirit of God got in it.
Right.
Right. Where it is.
So let me say, Tony has been saying spiritual, and that is whether you a Muslim, you're Hebrew Israelite, you're Christian, whatever. Spiritual is spiritual. Okay, so if whatever religion you are, if you're dating the person, your equal in that religion, then just, know what you're studying and be equally yoked together. That's what I suggest. Now, I know over in the Gambia, the Muslims and the Christians intermarry. I had a family member that intermarried, Muslim and Christian, and they were fine. So, but Tony and I, our belief is, you marry equally yoked.
That's it.
We married. Your values are equally yoked.
Yeah, your values. What you stand for, with your morals, your moral values. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess it's still in.
I guess that's an individual. I guess up to individual.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I'm saying.
That's up to individuals.
You got low morals, you got high morals, you got all morals in between. It depends on a lot of times on your expectation. Mm-hmm. I expect if I'm this way, then she's gonna be that way. It's comparable to you got to be comparable to each other.
Yeah. So, and then so what would you say to the men to prepare themselves to look for a good wife?
I'm gonna say, I would say what really helped me, and that's only me. I got into those proverbs. It's teaching you about a man's a man's duties as well as a woman's. Mm-hmm. If you really want to learn. I mean, the word period will teach you, but the proverbs really helped me a lot, even later in life. Mm-hmm. It teaches as well as man teaches what you should expect: an excellent wife, or why they bring shame. It just teaches you about the things that are value. And you if you get into that, like I said, if you're in this, whatever other religion you said, find the books.
Yeah, Islam.
I'm sure they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Word on marriage, so forth. But you find it, and that's how you learn.
And you seek, and also you seek your elders' advice. You know, it's nothing wrong with asking your elders' advice. That's what they put God have the elders on the earth for, is to get advice, to seek advice, good godly advice from your elders.
Right.
You know, I mean, anybody would tell you that grew up with me when I was at home church in Jordan, and I was 16. They used to love me to go to Bible class from 16 up until, you know, I left Jordan. I used to bombard the elders. I bombard them,
Challenge them
with questions and challenges and things like that, because I wanted to pick their brain and knowledge, because I hate making mistakes. So I wanted to get all the knowledge that I possibly could on life. Now, sometimes I didn't always follow their advice, but at least I had it in my head. So if I ran and bumped up my head and I wanted to try to do it my way, at least I know I could go to it, because I listened to what they say. Say, okay, well, I tried it my way. That didn't work. So let me go and try that, try the way that my elders had told me to try it. Okay. So, so yeah. You said you was going to mention the covering.
Which one?
The women's covering themselves.
About you mean the body?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean? Okay. I mean, yeah. We talked about that a little bit, but that's what you should be. You should be telling. If you're going to talk about what it does for a man. That's why I said it becomes spiritual. Though you won't have to, deal with that. But you got to explain them by doing that.
Well, you were saying that okay, guys, we having a sidebar conversation. Excuse us for a second. So, because you were saying that, when you met me, you didn't see my body.
Yeah. Okay, that's what. About. Yeah. When I met her, I mean, like I say, I didn't. It's the way she dressed, and she was always, covered. Probably, she didn't wear anything exposing her body. I respected that. And a lot of times, I mean, as women, that's why I wanted her to elaborate on the way as far as the dress part. But you don't give a guy reason. If you cover yourself properly, he won't look further and want you for other thing other than yourself. They want your flesh, your body. You want them to look at you as not an object, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of times women may say that, but if you dress a certain way, we are men. We're not blind. We can't, we're gonna look. But a lot of times that could be the reason, and you don't even realize it. Like I said, she was always covered. Always had a dress. I never seen no part of her body, no part, and I respected that a lot. That made me respect her, and that's another thing that I knew she was right, because I don't believe that you showing this, showing that. That's your business, because that's you feel like, hey, that's you. But I'm saying a lot of times you can get a man the wrong impression about you if you doing that, and I'm sure most women know that. But I mean, these are things that I respected for her. So you had to respect her first, respect her. Even after I met her, still respect her, the way she carried herself, And I always tell her that, even though going back, like I said, before we really started a relationship, and sometimes it'd be misleading on the woman's part. They might not realize that they're doing that, but men, we it's just a natural thing for us to look like that, But I didn't see that in her. I respect her for that, for carrying herself that way. You know, for me, you know, that's the way I felt about it with her. Because I went to her, like I say, I knew she, like I say, the reason this subject was deep for me because I chose her. She didn't choose me, in no way. You know, I called her first, and that's just the way it was because I knew what I wanted. You know, and I knew what I wanted. I didn't want my kids meeting somebody this week, next week. I told God, I said, Lord, whoever I get in a relationship with, that's what I want to be my wife. I don't want to date. So these are things that I came to my conclusion. I can't come to the conclusion for anyone else. Your reasoning might be different. So I didn't go on dates and all this, you know, out, and I didn't do all that. You know, number one, I didn't want my sons meeting, you know, all these different people. Who's this and that? No. You know, they really know they want no one person that's Tina. That's it. You know. So, but you can talk about, I mean, the way to dress, because I mean, you know,
the scripture tells them that how to be modest in the dress, you know, and all of that. And I know that, you know, we as women, we want to, you know, we want to be sexy and we want to do all of that stuff. But that's, you know, especially if you're a young woman, you know, I don't want to be looking like no old maid and blah. Because I tell you, when the pastor put me on the missionary board, it was a struggle, you know, for me to be on the missionary board before oh Lord, I used to fight with my elders. Oh my God, I used to fight with my elders about, you know, dressing. They want you to cover, like, you know, they don't want you to, they had to wear a 3/4 length sleeve and don't want to show your shoulder. Ladies, let me tell you, I don't care what part of your body men get turned on. Okay. So, I mean, I don't care. Because I, as a young woman, I did not understand that. Okay? I did not understand that men can look at your forearm and get turned on. Okay? Your feet, your neck, your ears. So that's why the scripture tell you, and then your elders, especially if you're in a holiness or Pentecostal churches and stuff like that, and they say, oh, they what do they call them people? What do they call them?
What was me?
The women, the holy rollers.
Oh.
You know, all these names. But guess what, guys? I'm sorry. They right.
You're right. You're right.
You know, they're right. So, I mean, because I'm the one, because, honey, I had a serious Coke bottle. I ain't going to tell you, know. But, I mean, you know, but once you become spiritual, once the Holy Spirit take over you guys, okay, God will show you. And I got so convicted one Sunday in church, and I was not trying to get no kind of attention, but I had on a dress, and the dress was not, it's form-fitting, but it wasn't like tight, the hoochie mama tight. But, and the dress was right below my knee, okay? And I saw an elderly man staring at my calves, from my calf below my knee to my ankle. I mean, you know, like, woo, you know, and I felt so bad, guys. I felt horrible, actually, you know, because I don't want to do that to no man. And then especially if a man is married, looking at my legs, you know, and so, you know, we just have to be mindful about how we're shaped. You know, if you heavy busted, or you got a big behind, and you got big legs, and I have all of the above, okay? So they need to be covered, okay? So if you're wheeling down like me, you need to cover yourself, because it is a distraction for our males, for our male kind, for our brothers. It's so help them. We gotta help them. We have to help them. Thank you, baby. Tony said, my husband said, help keep them from falling.
Like you said, the old guy was married.
You know,
like you say, you know.
So we all of us want to be, you know, we want to be attractive, right? My elders, women that are older than me, they are my elders, say we are not supposed to desire to be sexy. You know, because that's a carnal word. You know, we want to be revered, you know, as holy. You know what I mean? And, you know, undefiled. Right? Beautiful, you know, to our husbands. You know. So, you know, I want my husband to desire for my husband. I want to look all of that for my husband. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, so it's a mindset. It's a mindset, ladies. It's a mindset. You gotta change. And well, I say work on it. You know, work on it. You know, you want to be beautiful, attractive, and all of that. But believe me, you know, guys will approach you even when you are fully covered.
That's right.
You know, so, you know, because then when you're fully covered, your glow, your what you feel on the inside about yourself permeates on the outside, and that'll attract it. When the guy is looking for a godly woman, he's looking for something totally different anyway. Right. You know what I mean? He's not looking for the body is sexy and blah, 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 blah.
That's right.
That's a carnal man.
Right.
You know,
right.
So, you know, it's just preparation. So I think how to prepare yourself, I think that's what I would say. I would leave it at that. With you know, women preparing themselves, not looking so much carnally on the outside, but, you know, becoming the woman that God wants you to become. Becoming understanding, learning how to answer with a soft answer, you know, and, you know, all of that, not having, you know, being so harsh, or what, you know, all those past hurts, leave it, put it in the sea of forgetfulness. Forget that crap and just start afresh, you know, anew. Ask God to heal you from all your past hurts and things like that, so that you can be pleasant, so that you will attract, you know, the good godly man that the good godly man has for you, that good godly man that God has for you. I think I said that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, yeah. So, you know, leave all that stuff behind and just, you know, prepare yourself to receive him. Be ready for him, you know, when he approaches you, you know. Be approachable, you know, and, you know, if you don't have no foolishness with you, they ain't gonna bring you no foolishness, you know. So, I think that's all I gotta say. You got any closing remarks?
I'm good. That's it.
So, guys, we thank you.
Thank you
for listening to us. And guys, please share our channel, like our channel. Please, we're gonna post it up on YouTube. Go to our YouTube channel and like, share, and subscribe. And I'm gonna start trying to you know, be more diligent as far as what topic of discussion we're gonna send it out for you guys to go to our channels and to subscribe. Okay. All right.
So you got to answer questions, right?
I think we did. Wait a minute.
Okay.
So how would a woman know that a Christian church man is not playing games, telling you and doing what you want to hear? Oh, baby, well, you addressed that. We got one question, y'all. We got to answer this one. Okay, go ahead. You want to read it?
Woman, he said, woman.
Okay.
So you got
so how would a woman know that the Christian church man is not playing the game, telling you and doing what you want to hear. I'm not a man. You gotta answer that, baby.
Okay, I mean that's okay. The way you can tell by the way, I would say, it's going to depend on what kind of game you're talking about. Because if he's saying, okay, a Christian church man, first of all, he's not going to be playing a game. It's going to be awkward for him to even play a game. If he's truly Christian church man, and the way you can tell he's not playing a game, it's going to be tough to tell, because you have to know if he's your husband, you should be able to tell right away. But if you dating something like that, it might be, I don't know, kind of tough. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna have to give some thought on that one, because if he's well, see right there, okay, Christian church man. That's why I always say spiritual. But if you're a Christian and spiritual, you Christ-like, it's the same thing. You know, it's just something about discernment. You have some discernment as a woman, you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell. And most of the time, if they're really a Christian, it's not going to happen. You know, it's not going to happen, because they're truly, like I always use the word, love God. They can't play no game. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. You know, I'm going to give some thought on it, and I'll get back.
My thing would be, how you know if he's playing the game, he's going to be lacking somewhere. Like Tony and I was saying, we bringing them around those males.
Yeah. Bringing
them around your spiritual
elders.
Supposed to
be Christian already, so it's not like somebody young that's like, say, mature, like a new baby in Christ, or immature in Christ. We're not talking about that. You're talking about a Christian, because he's not going to play no game. Because he knows number one, he ain't going to do it because he's accountable to God. If he's really a Christian man, he's accountable for it. God going to hold him accountable for it. So you ain't got to worry about knowing it or not. That God's going to reveal it to you.
Right.
It might be in a dream. It might be, you might be just sitting one day, and the Lord's going to reveal it to you. You know, all you got to do is say, look, this is on my mind. And you approach him. That's just the way it's going to happen.
Because it's something he's going to do out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, it's something he's going to do.
Yeah.
Whether he's going to act in his flesh.
Yeah.
Okay? You know, if first he do all this, he'll be doing all this preaching, the Lord said, he know all the scriptures backwards and forwards and all this kind of stuff. But believe me, somewhere in his flesh,
a pattern
is going to show up.
Some pattern that he normally does.
Yes.
That he's not doing, or something he's not doing, he's doing.
Yes.
So that's one way of telling, if you ask me. The pattern's going to change.
Yes. Somewhere in his flesh, is going to show up that he ain't quite right.
Yeah.
Something. He going to, because a man is a man. And if he start coming after you in the flesh and stuff like that, you know he ain't right. He ain't right. Yeah. Because if he really right, he going to be struggling trying to stay on that straight and narrow path with you.
That's right.
You know, y'all talking the same language we want to be around. Like when Tony and I were dating, when we went on a date, we had children. We took our kids with us. That helped us not to fall into temptation.
Right.
Okay, so we both were. We both was fighting against the flesh. Okay, we both were doing that, fighting against the flesh. We like you said, we ain't blind. You know, we were attracted to each other. So but you both got to be walking the same walk, talking the same talk, you know, trying the same way.
Well, that's
you know, so you know, and if he pulling you one way, you trying to hold yourself and keep yourself, and he pulling the opposite way, then that ain't. So you know, that's one way of knowing, and then. You know, it's something ain't quite, you know, you just know in your spirit that something ain't quite right. You might not be able to put your hand on it, but the Holy Spirit will definitely let you know what's what. Like Tony and I said, we knew we were each other's mates, you know, by the Spirit.
Well, let's see.
Go ahead.
Okay, like she said first, physically she wants 6. And it's a natural thing as humans to look at fleshly things. But I was beyond that. I don't put people down and look at that because women are supposed to be attracted to men are supposed to be attracted to women. But don't let an attraction be physical. As you mature spiritually, it's supposed to be less attractive. Even though that person is attractive, because truly she is attractive, but that's not what I looked at. You see what I'm saying? And that comes through from maturity in Christ. But if you're talking about a worldly man, it ain't gonna matter. You know, he has to come to that level. A lot of women try to bring guys to a certain level. You can't bring them. I have a friend that I know. They've been married for at least 30 years, married, but they've been together for 40. And that person has not changed one bit. So, the deal is, you can't change a person. So if you go in trying to change him, let God change him first. Let God change him first. Even if, now I'm not saying stay with that person until he changes, but I would rather them be there already. Like Tina was already there. Like I say, some of our dates, I will not lie, some of our dates were Bible study. Matter of fact, the majority of our dates, it wasn't even a date, it was a Bible study. She bring me books. Bring me this. And then we having Bible study before I, had to work. And these are things that I needed at that time. I didn't know what I was going to do, trying to, divorce and trying to raise, 3 kids, 4 kids, really. And I didn't know which way to I could have easily flipped and went the other way. But like I said, God has something to do with it because she came in at the right time, and sort of helped me get through it. But you'll know certain things and as you get older, you'll already pick up things. If you've been married for a while, you'll be able to pick up changes, patterns. The way they do things is different. Is different from everybody. But you got to know that person. You got to know that person. To basically come down to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right.
So I think we asked everybody.
Might be one up above.
Okay, I'm just trying to check and see.
And see, don't go in, and you go into a relationship for a marriage, you can't change nobody. You can't. So you have to really know that for yourself. So the thing about it is, what's that? Another question? How do you prepare? How do you have the right mate? Okay, I think we covered that through experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, hopefully we did answer the question.
Okay, so we ready?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, guys. So again, hopefully we answered everybody's questions, and we invite. If you guys would like to get on a panel, sit on a panel with us, married couples. First, we would like to do married couples. If you want to sit on a panel with us, and form a panel so that we could just get the word out to our communities that we are encouraging our community, our African diaspora and community to seek marriage, seek family life, wholesome family life. And guys, you want to come on a panel, you guys have been, got some experience and got some years behind your belt, and something you want to share on our channel, please go into my the comment section, put your contact information on, and so we can set up another live or different topics of discussion that you want to discuss, on a joint panel with us. Let's do that. Let's get our black families together. Let's get our black families
married. Get some marriages.
Marriages.
Exactly.
Let's promote marriage, y'all. Let's help us to promote marriage and family. Okay, let's promote marriage and family. Okay, all right.
All right.
So peace be unto you guys.
Peace
love and peace and love. All right. All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. In video.
Thank you.
That was good, Tina.
You end it?
But babe, you got. That's it. That's
Okay.
it.
No, you gotta wait till it go off. Okay.